Friends, now that we are clear with the fundamentals, let's recreate some of the designs that I created and let's experience how easy it is to create our custom visual analogies using Canva. So let's try to recreate this from scratch. Okay. So first thing I need here is two lines which is consistent, right? Which is kind of equidistant. So one thing that I did is that I clicked on file and I clicked on show rulers and guide. This way we are able to see this ruler. Okay. Then, you can use these guides. You can drag from here and, position it at certain, numbers. But I have another preferred way of doing that. So I'll just get rid of the guide. And now what I'll do is I'll simply click L to draw a line. As simple as that. Now we'll rotate it 90 degrees. You can see the degrees as I rotate. So I'll rotate it exactly 90 degrees. Okay. Now I'll duplicate it by pressing Command D or Control D. Okay. Now I'll place one of these to the left side and snap it to 100 so that I have a little bit of room here. I'll place the another one right in the right side. So this looks okay to me. Okay. And I can see that it's centered by the middle dotted line. Now I'll duplicate it 2 more times. Okay. And I'll just align it vertically. So I'll simply align them vertically. This one as well. Okay, so all are aligned vertically. Now I'll select all of them. Let me select all of them. And then I'll go to position. And we have this tidy up option here, right? In the bottom. So I'll just click on tidy up and we will have this equi-spaced lines. I can easily get rid of this after the design or maybe before the design, before I complete the design. Okay. Next thing is we need a couple of elements for units and these headings. So let's insert the headings first. Actually, it's good to keep the lines. I'm just pressing Command Z or Control Z to bring the lines back. Now I'll need to put some headings here, right? So I'll go to text. I'll try to find a text style that looks just okay to me. Okay, so like this birthday looks quite clear enough. So I'll just click that. I'll close the side panel. And now what I can do is I can get rid of happy if I want to. So what I can do is I can click ungroup here. So now happy and birthday are both ungrouped. I'll get rid of happy. For the birthday, I'll place it in the center here. Okay. Now I'll name it. It was units. So I'll name them units. Okay. Similarly, I will duplicate it pressing Command D and create other 2 headings, integrations and end-to-end. Now obviously we need to reduce the font size a little bit for all 3 of them. So I will reduce the font size. And this looks okay to me. Let me see what tidy up will do for me. So if I again select all of them, no, these are also selected, right? So I'll individually select them using command. Command does not seem to work. Maybe something like this. Yeah. And now let's see what tidy up does for us. So I'll go to position. I'll tidy up them. And yeah, they look much better. Nice. So we have our partition and our headings ready. Okay. Now we need to insert some of the units of, for example, bicycle. So what I'll do is I'll go to elements, again our favorite and the most useful section of Canva, and I'll just search for bicycle parts. Okay. And the best part is that it's very, the search is really good. So now what we can do is we can look for a couple of bicycle parts. Those are free. Okay. And I'll just take one of them. So for example, if I take this individual unit here, Canva gets really slow when I'm recording a video. So please excuse me for this. And I'll make it a bit smaller. Make it just a bit smaller. And place it here. Okay. Now you can see that magically, Canva recommends us, these are some of the things that might be similar to this, right? And they look very, very relevant. Another trick is that you can click on 3 dots and you can see all the designs from this skill grid design, or you can see more like this. So I usually use see more like this. So I get a lot of, relevant things. So now I can click and drag a couple more individual parts. For example, this looks like a bicycle part, for example. And I can have pad, this leg rest or whatever we call it. So we can simply click and drag a couple of parts that we find relevant. Okay. And all 3 are of different colors. So you can go creative, like you can make this something like a little bit darker shade. You can make it, look like a steel or something. So feel free to use your creativity, but if you want, you can make it the same color, so that whatever there are unlimited possibilities here. So this way you can select a couple of units. Then again, same thing, inside elements you can search for bicycle parts again. And you can select a couple of graphics which are, kind of integration. This looks like a very good example for end-to-end thing, right? So we can click and drag it for the end-to-end thing. And you can, see, it's giving great recommendations, right? And you can see for a couple of things which are like, integration. So this looks like a great integration example. And this looks like a great integration example, right? Where a couple of units are trying to work together. So I can click and drag them. I'll then minimize the panel, the elements panel. I'll resize them. I don't know, I like consistency. I'll maybe make both of them a similar dark color. So maybe this thing, yeah. And we have our custom graphics ready, right? We can use this in our blog post. We can use this for training our students, right? We can use these in our notes. And it's very easy to, download it. You just click on share and you can click on download. And you can select JPEG or PNG, and we just need the current page. So I'll just select I'm using the same canvas that I was using yesterday. So I just need page 11 and I can click done and I'll be able to download the image to my desktop. What I normally do is, because I use light background all the places, so I can simply take a screenshot of it as well. That just works for me. Okay, so this was the first example. Now you won't get comfortable just by looking into me creating designs. It will be great if you can pause the video and try to recreate something similar to this all by yourself. Okay, so try this thing. I have another good assignment for you. Before we move ahead, try to recreate something like this. I have provided link to it in the notes. Okay, so this is something I found in the internet. So they are trying to explain how a function works. Okay, so see if you can try to make something like this all using Canva, and then we can move to our second example. All right, so the second example is this array.reduce example. Okay, and let me show you how easy it is to build this using Canva. So first thing, I need a glass, some water, and glass should be an editable graphic so that I can change its color, right? So let me search for a glass first. So inside of elements, I'll look for a glass. And we have a lot of editable graphics here. So if I drag this and I click here, so yeah, it's not editable, right? I don't see an color palette here, so it's useless for us. I'll get rid of it. Next is this one. Let me see if this works for us. This is again, we cannot change the color of the liquid, so it's not very useful for us. We will see for something else. I'll maybe click graphics so that the results are a little more fine-tuned for me. And let's see if this works. This is editable, right? So this looks like a good option to us. So what we can do is, so we can see that we have a couple of variations of glasses here, right? Empty, with water, with lemon, with oranges, right? So this is the only variation. Rest everything is really simple. This is just an element that I found and dragged here. This is again, I searched for oranges, I found this, I dragged here. So here, this is the only a little bit tricky part, that you have to make a couple of copies of this glass. So I'll do that up front. Command D, Command D, Command D. Okay, and now I'll select the first one and try to make it look like empty. So this looks like an empty glass already, right? So I can keep it like this for the empty glass. Here I want to make it look like water. So I'll click this. I'll select a color that looks like water. So this looks like a glass of water. I'll make it look like orange. So I'll select the color that's most predominant here. And I'll make it look like maybe orange. So this is the glass of orange water. And now finally this is going to become our lemon water, and this is going to become our glass of orange water. As simple as that. Okay, so we have different variations of glasses of water, and for this I searched for a jug of water and I got this image. And then I can use, again, these plus and equal to, this can be text, but again these are something that I searched here in the elements. So I searched for plus And I got several variations of plus. I can use any of them. And we have a plus sign. Okay, so you can use plus sign. In between two elements, you can use a plus sign. This is just that simple. Okay, and then I have an equal to sign here. Again, you can search for an equal to sign, or better, click here and try to see more items like this. They are not relevant. We will look for an equal sign, equal, and you see I have so many variations of equal to sign. Some are free, some are pro. I can select any of these and I can use an equal to sign. I can resize it, change the color to match that of plus, and we have everything that we need for our graphic, right? I did the exact same thing. Now this time, see, this magic recommendations are so much relevant. Next thing is I did this again. These are simple elements, and these commas are also simple elements, as simple as that. So this is how I created this particular graphic. Everything is simply click and drag from elements tab. The only thing that I had to do was to change, to give different states of this glass. So I just changed these two colors for all the, combinations. Rest everything was just taken, just stolen from Canva. So this is how I created this second graphic. Now again, as an assignment, as a student assignment, I would appreciate if you can try to recreate this all by yourself. Maybe, give it your own flavor, give it your own touch. And second student assignment that I would like you to do is to try to recreate this React potato metaphor. Believe me, it's much more easier than what you think. Maybe I'll give you a little bit of hint. So just again, your best friend is this elements tab, right? Just look for root. Just look for root. And you will find a root that will be simple enough for your example. So if you scroll a little bit down, so this looks like a very simple enough root, right? You can also find a free example here. So this is a completely free one. I'll just drag this. Now this is just, I'm giving you a little bit of hints how to go about it. And then I'll choose the flip feature to flip it vertically. Okay, I'll close this panel for elements. Okay, so I have my root ready. Now I need a couple of potatoes. Again, we'll go to our best friend elements. We will search for potatoes, potato. Okay, we will get a nice potato. We have lots and lots of, whatever you search, you have that. Okay, so I'll just take any one of these and I'll place it. I'll simply close the tab. Okay, and then I can resize that a little bit. And then I can place it here. And I can obviously rotate it and make it look good. Command D. One comes here. And I can maybe, flip it so it looks a little different. Flip it. Resize it a little bit so it looks a little different. Right? Rotate it a little bit so it looks a little original. So this way you can create, try to recreate exact same. For water drops, again you need to go to elements, search for water drops. So this was a small little hint for all of you. Okay. Now let's go to the So this is your second student assignment. So try to recreate this example. It does not have to be exactly this. Please use your imagination and try to create your own version of it. In that way we will be free to use that image will be ours, right? We'll be free to use it anywhere in our content, in our blogs, anywhere. Let's go to the third example. Now friends, for this third example, again you can see that everything is coming from the Elements tab, right? So this is an image. I just searched for boss and somehow boss suggested me this image. Then I searched for robot, and these are the free version of robots. These are simple text. This is a simple line with an arrow. Okay, so these are all coming from Elements. Now again, I don't know what is the standard way of doing this. You maybe use slideshows. We can learn how to use Canva for slideshows in some other crash course or lessons, or maybe you can research them. How I do these kind of things, because at times these may get very, very, very long and wide, right? So how do I do this? I simply click resize and make it really long. So what I'll do is I'll make its height, way more than the width. So I have a long canvas. Okay. And then I design the entire thing. Then I click R to get a rectangle. So I click R to get a rectangle. There can be, many more ways to do this, right? I'm not saying that this is the only way to accomplish this. This is my way of how I do it. Okay. In case you figure out a much better and easier way of doing things, please share it with everyone, so we all can benefit from it. So now I'll simply close this panel and I'll match this with the background. So my background is white, so I simply match it with the background. I used to do it using Command Z, but now I am realizing that this is a much easier approach. So I try to cover these things by separate rectangles, and you can bring it up. So we want to bring it forward. We want to bring the rectangle forward so that everything is covered. Okay, so this rectangle is covered, this entire thing. Then I'll duplicate the rectangle and I'll cover the subordinate robot, and simply I'll duplicate it again and cover this robot. So so while I'm teaching, so boss is assigning some task to its robot, right? Its manager, which is a robot. This is its result, this is its problem. Then it again subordinates it. Then I simply click it and delete it. So now this is revealed. Then I go down and click and reveal. So this is how I do these lengthy, step-by-step things which I need to explain. Here you can always do a speech bubble. For example, each robot is giving the exact same instruction to their subordinates. So you can please select elements and search for speech bubble. You will get lots of speech bubble, and you can use that to denote that that our robot is giving some instruction. I'll recolor it maybe a little so it's very clear. So, and then I need to make it smaller. I'll close this side panel. I'll zoom it out a little bit. Then I can move these down. So I can select and move these managers down, these robots down a little. I'll move them down a little. And I can again resize this speech bubble and place my instructions here. So it becomes a little more, there are endless possibilities, right? So you can write some sort of instructions here that, hey, subordinate, take this array, flatten it, give it back to me. I'll simply concat it with my array and give it back to my manager, right? So if you want to write these things out, you can write this, and you can cover all of these. You can cover these with different rectangles, and you can reveal them slowly. So this is how I implement the graphics of revealing things slowly. I simply cover them with a rectangle that matches the background and keep on deleting them as I reveal them. So this is the only way I am aware of. And if you come across a better way, please let me know. But this way simply works beautifully for me. So I don't have any issues with this sort of a graphic, and I can very easily, move around, and I can use the tool the draw tool to describe things, write down something here. So yeah, it's fun. So to reinforce the knowledge and to really gain confidence, try to recreate something like this in Canva all by yourself, first thing. Second thing you can try to do is try to recreate something like this. I have again provided link to this. Try to teach object-oriented principles all by yourself. For inspiration, my favorite book, I can say that, my teaching is inspired a lot by this book. Let me show you. So this is the book by O'Reilly Publications. It's called Head First Design Patterns. So there are a very few books which has all 5-star reviews. No one gives this book less than 5-star, right? So you can see that there are 261 reviews for the first edition, and they are all 5-star reviews. Now the second edition has a couple of extra material. They are all 5-star reviews. So my teaching, the way I teach, is greatly influenced by this Head First Design Pattern. So if you look inside the book, so to explain the factory pattern, they use baking example. Beautiful, right? And then, very real life. So something as complicated as design patterns, they teach using duck examples, right? And they teach using pizza examples, right? So they use great analogies. So for example, different methods, pizza.prepare, pizza.bake, pizza.cut. I mean, it's very easy to visualize them, and they beautifully take you from known, something that something you can relate to a completely alien, completely abstract topic. And I've read this book so many times. So it has influenced my way of teaching a lot. So I really want to give due credit to this book. So if you get a chance, and if you're interested in design patterns, and it's language agnostic, so you don't need to worry. You don't need to be an expert of any programming language. It's just for the concept thing. I'll highly recommend, highly suggest, go through this book and pick up things that they are doing differently. Okay. So yeah, this is pretty much it. I don't consider myself an expert of Canva. Whatever I have learned by trial and error, and by just brute force, by just, experimenting with it, working with it a lot. And I'm very happy to share my learnings to all of you. And I sincerely hope that this will help you in visualizing, in giving abstract some real form. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.